And
We?
live.
Yeah. What's up?
Hey, bro, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. I bought a new flower, as you can see.
Yeah.
Like my
It's growing.
background.
It's growing like our podcast.
Yeah, as you can
Very,
see,
very,
yeah.
very slowly.
It has many flowers and yada yada yada. Dude, have you seen Narcos?
Yeah. I've seen two seasons, like way back 2 years ago, I think,
All right.
and I was amazed by the personality of Pablo Escobar. Like, yeah,
El Patron. El
El
Patron.
Patron. Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you been watching it?
yeah, I just started. I've started last year. I finished on I stopped somewhere in the middle of the second season and I picked it up yesterday for some reason. I don't even know why. And it
Okay.
was crazy because I was in the season 2, episode 7, I think, something like that. And at some point,
Spoiler alert, first of all.
spoiler alert, but no, it's not gonna be spoiler. But anyway, at some point, something's happening, and Pablo Escobar is super angry, and he started like cursing, "Ay, hijo de puta, nosotros, el cartel de Medellín, a la mierda, Judimo, blah, blah, blah." And he was cursing. And I literally saw this scene of like 20 seconds. I also put it on my Instagram story. I see it like 6, 7 times again and again and again. And I was amazed, apart from, how good of an actor this guy is, also how much, sometimes people are like rushing into their feelings and they cannot stop, actually think logically. For example, what happens in this movie is that in this scene is that someone killed a person that Escobar liked a lot, and Escobar, with only having 3 or 4 soldiers, said that okay, let's go to kill all the members of the other gang, which is stupid because with 4 soldiers you can do nothing, and you will most probably lose your life. And this made me thinking that is this true that the same happens in our life, that instead, of taking a logical decision, we're like so much into our head, so much into our feelings that we don't even stop to breathe and think, okay, is this, feeling, is this is really me? Or maybe is the ego or whatever that makes me talk and think like that. So what do you think?
I think that we act on impulse a lot of the time, most of the time actually, and sometimes we are able to calm down and like rationalize our thoughts. But the example of Escobar is like an extreme example of how if you aim so high, you have such a high goal, and you will do anything to achieve it. Like they say that the end justifies the means. Okay, then you will do anything without second thought, and which sometimes is a good thing because you will actually take action, but other times you will be irresponsible and not think about the consequences of your actions. So there is a bit of a trade-off there, and we talked about this before, like how far are you willing to go without giving it enough thought before you realize what are the consequences of our actions. And I had a very interesting discussion today about lying and how telling lies breeds more lies. I don't know what's your relationship with lying. I don't really like to lie. I'm good at lying, but I don't really like to do it because then I have to occupy my brain with preserving all the lies, and this is very bad for my mental well-being.
I only lie to you.
Okay, that's great. Likewise. So, and the point was that have you ever read Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky?
Nope.
Okay, it's like a very interesting story. I think everyone should read it. It's essentially a story about a guy who commits a crime and then has to commit a second crime to cover up his first crime, and then has to commit a third crime to cover up his second crime. So as you see, like the immorality breeds immorality in a way, and doing the wrong thing is like a compass that will lead you to the wrong direction of doing more of the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I think we've talked about it before. I heard about this quote some time ago, and I really loved it. It's like, if you're on the wrong train, then every station is the wrong station. It doesn't matter like where you get off or how long you travel. If you're on the wrong train, then every station is the wrong station, because it's a linear path. So that was like very interesting to me, like how people justify their lies, and then to justify their lies they lie even more and even more and even more. And I think this gets into a place of psychosis, as with Escobar. Like, he was psychotic, you know.
Yeah.
You have to have such a disregard for reality and for logical and moral behavior that after a while you just get crazy. It's impossible to maintain this paradigm inside your brain without going crazy. The same with like I don't know, Escobar, Hitler, Stalin, all these like completely evil figures. And I think this is a very interesting topic on Narcos too.
Yeah, no. Look, I don't know if, sometimes maybe we should, like, the white lies. I don't think that it's bad from time to time to say like a white lie that might protect the other person mostly, not so much you. Because, for example, if someone, and when I say white lie, I'm not saying to cover the truth or to completely destroy the truth and say something like which is not even possible or real. But if you have a date and for any reason you are late, you can be like, so a bear attacked my car and that's why I was late. That's completely fake. But yeah, I don't think that white lies is bad. Like, sometimes you can say something to help the other person.
I agree with that. Yeah, you should.
Especially if a bear attacks your car, right?
Yeah. I completely agree with that. White lies are necessary, and but you have to put it also in a context. For example, like mythology is a white lie in some sorts. But if you build a cult that's willing to sacrifice human lives in order to appease a deity, then this is a crime. The white lie has gone too far. Or it's like, yeah, it's exactly that. And you can have many white lies. Like, okay, let's say that your girlfriend has like put on a few pounds, okay, and she's starting to get fat, okay.
No, baby, you're beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and how long can you keep on doing that? Like, it's a white lie. It's a white lie. But for how long will you do that? Because after a while, not only it's aesthetically bad, but it's also bad for your health, which is even worse, because it's an objective reason to tell someone to improve their health.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to handle white lies, because you get into a behavioral pattern that perpetuates lies.
A friend of mine once told me that, if you get on the wrong train,
Yeah.
all the stations are the wrong stations. So yeah, I agree with that. And radical honesty is the most important thing in any.
I think I had exactly that, radical honesty. And I had a very good comment on my Instagram today in the morning, I think. And it was like a question about whether you prefer to be happy or to be truthful and to know the truth, because sometimes knowing the truth or discovering the truth will set you back on your happiness, because it will challenge you too much sometimes. And there was this girl, and she commented that something in between the lines of, yes, we need truth, but we need it delivered in an empathetic way. So you put it into an emotional context and deliver it to the person, sort of a white lie, but it's a white truth. So you give the facts and you become radical, honest, but at the same time you respect the emotional and the cultural background and the personal background of the person who you are giving the truth.
For me, I think the only thing that matters in this truth, lie, whatever, is how much this is in accordance with your life values. Like, if you want to, for example, for things like love, for family, for health, for things that matter to me, I would never lie. All right. But if it's like something that will not like affect my life values, I don't really give a fuck, to be honest. But for example, I had like something similar, like a question that someone was like, should someone be guilty for the things he did or regretful for the things that he never tried? And I responded, and I'm also curious about your response, that you should definitely feel regret for the things that you did. Sorry, guilty for the things that you did, because at least you tried. But always when you do these things, make sure that these are in accordance with your life values. So for example, if you want to, become a millionaire, you're not gonna go rob a fucking bank, okay? If you want to, if you're in a relationship or if you are married, you're not going to fuck with the guy you met on the bar because, you want to, forget and unleash the beast of sexuality within yourself. If you have the values of love, if you have the values of society, okay, you should respect these things above all. And then if you see that these are not, if these are in accordance with you, stop. If they're not, do whatever you want.
It's a fine line again, because your values can come into a direct collision course with someone else's values. That's one thing. And the second thing is that if you lack self-awareness and general awareness, then you can justify your actions any way you like. For example, you say that if you want to become a millionaire, you shouldn't rob a bank. Okay, but what if my justification to this is that banks are stealing money from ordinary people every day, and there is a global conspiracy that's strategically put together in order to make wealthy people wealthier and poor people poorer. Okay, so this is like a great Robin Hood is that story, and it's fucking romantic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the idea that you steal, you have, even though it's wrong to steal, you have a strong enough rationale behind it to actually steal and still get away with it because the popular opinion is with you. Then you become a vindicator and a sort of an anti-hero in a way. And I don't think this is still unhealthy in my opinion, because it's one-sided.
All right. So
I don't know. Morality and fairness are very difficult.
Let's brainstorm here. Let's brainstorm like a formula, let's say, whatever. So you agree that values should be part of the equation? I don't know. For me, it's essential.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, your values are your compass.
Okay, then what else should someone consider?
I think the primary thing is that in order, let's say that you are committed to your values 100%. The second thing is that you have to be practical about it. So if my values tell me, let's go to the very radical and bad extreme. Let's say that my values tell me that all Jews must die. Okay,
All
all Jews must die.
tools.
Okay, Jews, like Hitler thought.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, because they are inferior or whatever. Okay, even that is impractical to think about, because it's really impossible to kill everybody that is Jewish, you know. And like, if you take it to the good extreme, like, let's say that I want to make the world a place with no hunger. Okay, this is also impractical to think about. You have to scale it down into actionable small steps to do that. So if I was a Jew hater, I would go about killing Jews one by one with a hand pistol. And if I wanted to, sorry for the example, but yeah. So if I wanted to eradicate hunger, I would go about feeding one person at a time. But you still have to be practical about it. So how your passion applies to a practical framework in a way. And the third thing is that how this actually can operate with other frameworks. Okay, so this is actually, I think this is a secret sauce, because this is your relation to the world, and your relation to the world is essentially what will drive you towards new directions, not only because you will see problems that other people have that you want to solve and to bring value and solve their problems in a very productive way, but also because the frameworks that already exist could actually limit your possibilities if you look at it at a realistic level. So in this sense, let's say, for example, that I actually wanted to kill Jews, then the framework does not allow me to do it, because as soon as I start becoming a mass murderer, the police would come for me and I would be put in jail.
Yeah.
Okay. Or if I wanted to eradicate hunger, the frameworks that are already established, like, for example, the economy in third world countries, does not allow me to do that, because the economy is bigger than my personal economy. Yeah. So in a way, this is how the other people's frameworks and society affects your positioning and your direction.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. All right.
Yeah. So about lying, I want to tell you a story. Sorry. When I was, I think it was first or second grade, so I was like 6 or 7 years old. We were in the same school together, so.
I know. Thanks.
So, no. So to paint the picture, okay. So we had English class, okay, and I don't know if you remember, but I think it was like a daily test in English class that we did dictation. So the teacher.
Which class?
English.
No. How old? I mean, how old were
we were first or second grade, like 6 or 7 years old.
Okay.
And every day there was a test, like, at least in my classroom. I don't know about yours. I don't think we were in the same English class. That we did what we call dictation. So the teacher, she she spoke some words in English, and our job was to write them down.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
with proper grammar and with proper spelling, and I think sometimes also explain what they mean. Okay, so at the time, what I had found, like after I think the first month of classes, I had found a very good way to cheat the test. And by cheat, I mean actually look at the solutions. So I would put the book beside me, cover half of it by sitting on it, and the other half of it would be covered by the person who was sitting next to me. So we were like accomplices in a way. Yeah. So you know how ingenious we can be at school, right? If you want to cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And this was like 6 or 7 years old. I've never told that story to my parents, by the way. Of course, I haven't. So, and what we did was like we cheated like for about a month. Okay, we got perfect fucking grades for a month, and at some point I think it was my fault. I did some sudden move, and the teacher saw the book under our asses, essentially, and she immediately noticed, of course, and she cancelled the test. She cancelled our marks, and she had the talk with us. Like she was yelling, "For how long has this been going?" And like her entire theory of us as good students, it was shattered, you know. And at that point, I still remember how shameful I felt, and how I so strongly believed that I let everyone down, even though it was like it's a minor event. But for me at the time, it was like major, because I thought I would get away with it. I didn't, and then people shamed me for it, and I think rightfully so, because it was unfair, you know. And from that point, it became unnaturally hard for me to lie and to cheat on tests. And after that, like 7 years old, I never cheated on a test, never. And the only thing I did was I sometimes facilitated other people cheating, because they were asking me about, you know, questions and stuff like that. But I never cheated on a test in that way. And to this day, I don't think that I have a very bad relationship with lying. It gets on me. Like, I get depressed when I lie. I can do it, but I feel regret so fast and so deeply. I don't know why. It's so bad for me, really. And I think this has to do with your values, as you said. Like, don't do things that make you feel bad to achieve some arbitrary goal. Like, the goal for me was to take a good mark on English dictation as a 7-year-old, and to do that, I had to sacrifice part of my integrity
and part of your soul.
Exactly, yeah. And when I got caught, I didn't cry and felt sad because I got caught. I felt sad because of the implications that the act of cheating had on my personality, and the fact that I thought I was cheating but essentially I was cheating myself because I wasn't getting any better. So even though I despise the system, I hate the school system with all my heart. I hate it. But still.
So you're a liar. Well,
yeah, I'm a big fat liar.
Nice. It's good to know, my friend. It's good to know.
Have you ever had any they call it the imposter syndrome, I think, which is a cousin to lying. Do you know what the imposter syndrome is?
I'm waiting.
Okay, the imposter syndrome is that essentially is the thought that everything that you have achieved, or everything that you own and you, like I said, anything you have achieved, is part of a grand, like fake personality that you have, and you actually don't deserve it in a way, and you have faked your way into it, and you feel like an imposter, like somebody who is pretending to actually be entitled of those things that they have, but in reality they're just an actor. Have you ever had this? Like, it's a feeling, not a reality. It's like a psychological problem.
I think I did, but I cannot like recall a specific experience. But it makes absolutely sense. From time to time, we all like to put ourselves into some other person's shoes, even if it's like something bad, or like, for example, it's not exactly the imposter syndrome. Maybe it is. I'm not sure, but I feel like there is a small, and that's scientifically proven also. I was discussing this with a friend of mine. There is a small shift on my way of talking and engaging with people when I speak Greek and when I speak English. So basically, I remember I was with another Greek on the office, and we were like, we were surrounded by 3-4 British people, and we were talking in English. And we were like, yeah, so how are you? I'm good. What about you? Yeah, bro, all right. Wanna go grab a coffee together? I'm like, yeah, let's go. And the moment we left the room, and we started talking in Greek, we were like, malaka, yeah, wow, blah, 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 blah. Like,
yeah. Different energy altogether.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the imposter syndrome.
No, it's not that. What you had was peer pressure, actually. you were pressured into speaking in a certain way.
Yeah, or maybe it's because I cannot like express my Greekness in English words. And also there's the exact opposite. When I speak on a video or on a seminar in Greek, it doesn't feel that natural as when I do this in English. Even if it's not my native language, even if I do a lot of grammatical error, even if, as you can all tell, my accent is still fucking Greek, I feel more natural talking in English because maybe I'm programmed and my brain is wired from all the things I've done, I've seen, blah blah blah. But yeah, so
I think that's very interesting, because like everything that you talk about in your seminars and your videos, it's mostly knowledge that you've learned from English, right?
Yeah. So it's
exactly.
Like, but still,
it's more difficult to translate to your mother language than it is to replicate it in English.
Still, and even I have some stories, the garbage story and these stories as well. I feel like for example, I'm transforming into someone else when I'm on that stage talking in English. And, my goal is to really pass this message to someone else. And my energy goes toward that. And even if it's something that I really know how to say it in Greek, and I really felt it and experienced it while I was in Greece, and it's not like knowledge that I acquire, from books and courses and stuff like that, but it's things that I literally like experience throughout my life. Still, English makes me more, I can't find a word, but like bang, trying to more penetrated into, make my message more penetrated in the good sense, no pun intended.
Yeah, of course not. Why would it be anyway? For me, it's like when I want to talk about a serious subject, I find it and like go extremely use my logic and go very, very deep, I prefer Greek. But when I want to use more graphic language, I prefer English. I think it's better to communicate emotions with English, for me at least. But I don't know. Have you ever had public speaking like courses in English?
What do you mean? No,
Like learn how to public speak, but in English, not in Greek.
no. If I had taken a course, I would, I would know how to
I
speak
think that
properly.
they would have kicked you out like from the first hour because you would be so terrible.
No, your accent is Greek. No, you shouldn't speak like that. Get off this place.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. To be honest, I've learned the public speaking through public speaking, and I'm a huge supporter of learning things by the act of doing them.
Okay.
For sure, you can learn by reading. Definitely, like not for sure, 1,000 fucking percent you're gonna learn from reading, from watching. If you're auditory or if you're like the other kinesthetic. But like different other skills of my personality, I learn this thing by doing it, and I never regret that. Maybe I could have earned some time by taking some courses, but it feels more natural now because I found my own patterns, my own ways, my own tics. For example, I like Gary with does this. I'm like this. Sometimes I have my hand here for no reason.
Okay.
And I'm watching the video. I'm like, where the fuck is my hand there? But it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. That's great. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. Like now, you are like I am on your Instagram. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have almost 10,000 followers. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So the question is that, and I want you to answer it with without trying to sell yourself, which is very difficult. Okay, think about it. Think about it in many different levels. Okay, so answer me this without trying to sell yourself. How does the fact that you have nearly 10,000 followers make you feel? But don't sell yourself. It's me and you now.
So it's amazing. I would like to thank my mother.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do that. Or things like that, because it can go there. Okay.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
very easy to go there.
It depends. So from time to time, watching the opening my account and having the notifications that 50 people liked your picture that you just uploaded. 5 more people just followed you in the past second.
Yeah.
It gives you this endorphins, and it gives me pleasure. But for me, the most important thing is that everything I'm about to say is like, no, you're gonna sell yourself by saying that. You destroy my pattern of thinking.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna say whatever comes into my mind, and I'll try not to sell myself. But it's really important, it goes really well, and for me, this means that at least I'm doing something right, which is it literally is really humbling for me, and I still have a lot of things to do. I haven't accomplished anything yet, but you people from 2020 watching this podcast, you know that I did it, Stratis did it as well, and I don't use Instagram like the normal people use Instagram, and this is like a bit painful. So my Instagram and your Instagram as well is not like, it's my social media for my friends. Now anymore, it's not anymore for my friends. It's about the business. It's about the brand, which is good because it gives me access, to people all over the world. But on the other side, it's kind of bad because I cannot, keep in touch with only the people that I want. Feelings are mixed. I'm feeling very humbling and very grateful for 10,000 followers. Never expecting this to happen like a year ago. I thought that only models and footballers and 10,000 is nothing, if you compare it with people with millions and millions of followers like Gary Vee and singers, actors. But still, it's something for me and where I come from. And I know it's just the first stepping stone for me. And it's not gonna change anything, when I go to 10,000 or to 100,000 or to 1,000,000 followers. It's not gonna change who I am. I mean, that's only, even though I keep in touch with the people, this is only a phone. This is only social media. It's my way of keeping in touch with the followers, with the fans, with the people that support and like what I do. But apart from that, I try to separate it from my real life, which is my family, my friends, my partners, and people, like you. You're not a friend, you're a brother. So people like that are what matters for me more than some numbers in some application on the phone.
It's very interesting what you said about how you sacrifice your personal your personal profile to build your business profile. And it's actually very true. I thought about it, I think, yesterday, and I didn't give a lot of attention, but I felt like what is my message, And if you want to be consistent, then your message has to be really clear all the time. And even if you put on personal moments on your profile, then you still have to contextualize it in a way that supports your message.
Yeah.
And this sometimes, I think, it brings pain, because you get stuck between, on the one hand, you have your your business persona in a way, and on the other hand, you just want to have a normal interaction, like a personal interaction with everyone. And this is very difficult. And I've seen people that, for example, before I used to do I used to upload essays and quotes on Instagram. A lot of my friends liked my photos and stuff like that, even if it was about me or my lifestyle, or even if it was some bits of philosophy there and here. But nowadays, very few of my friends actually like my photos and the content that I upload. And even though the engagement is at scale so much larger, the numbers are through the roof.
Yeah, 100 comments, bro.
yeah. Hopefully, it's going really well. But at the same time, I don't know any of these people. And it's like you said, you try to keep in touch with people through social media. I think that's a romantic way of putting it, and I try to look at it like that, but it's really difficult for me. And the way I look at it is that social media is a place, is like a system, a technology where you can broadcast yourself. You cannot communicate. You cannot get in touch very easily, and you cannot communicate. I like to put my ideas out there and the content out there and see what kind of reactions I get. Not the number of reactions, but what kind. The comments, I read every single one of them, and I respond to every single one of the comments. But it's not like that I put out a content in order to get the comments, because I still believe that they are lackluster. I just broadcast.
No, that's
for example, if you told me that you're never going to get comments or likes or like any sort of indication, like how many people are following you and who likes what and stuff like that, but you just told me that every time you post something, at least like 10 people will see it, and if you post good content over time, this number will go up. And I just know how many people see my content. I would still be satisfied enough to do social media.
Yeah.
I see it like that because I don't know. I might be wrong, but I cannot really get in touch with like this sort of communication. Like it sometimes it's fun. Like I showed you the message earlier. Like I got a beautiful message from a girl. Like she said that she spent an hour reading my blog and blah 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 blah. And this is like wonderful, okay? And it's like it's humbling, and I feel a really great amount of gratitude for it. That a person that I don't know spent so much time looking at what I created. But at the same time, this can go that far. Like it cannot go. It cannot go to another level. And I think the analogy to that is that even though I don't consider myself a celebrity or something like that, and if you think of yourself like that, whoever you are, I think you are delusioned. You are gravely mistaken.
You're losing the point.
Exactly, it's a delusion. But what happens is that this is like a microcosm of like a micro simulation of like fanboys and fangirls. And if you've ever like seen reactions from Hollywood actors and actresses and celebrities and singers, like the way they react to fans, and they call them fans, they don't call them friends or acquaintances, you know, because people tend to like idolize who you are based on your like social media or like the movie you made or the album cover you're on. And then this is a loss of touch with reality completely, you know. Like the girl, she formed a personal opinion of me based on what I created, but at the same time, like I could be, I don't know, harassing animals on my basement, you know, and she would never know that. So yeah, it's very dark, but you know, these things happen. Like if you've read about all the sexual harassment scandals like that are on the internet right now from Hollywood and stuff like that, it's very difficult like to keep the balance between like personal touch and public opinion.
Of course, yeah. Because you know you can always write lies. It's not hard. You can always pretend you're someone, you know, that is not really you, but the self is always coming through. So sooner or later, people will see you for who you really are. And I had this problem in my life, not with me, but I had the problem of, you know, getting involved with the wrong persons, if you will, in my, you know, group of friends. And, you know, I learned the thing by the hard way, but right now I'm more grateful than ever. And I know that I'm always going to be real to me, to my friends, to the other people around me. And that's what it matters. And I know that there are people out there who pretend like that they will rent a Mercedes or a Lamborghini so they can create an Instagram account and put you a link that will redirect you in a course, how to make $1 million in a day and buy your own Lamborghini. Whatever. Sooner or later, people will understand that this is fake. But what I'm trying to do, what you're trying to do as well, and that's the reason why we're together in this, why we collaborate, why we keep in touch every day, because we understand each other in a deeper level, is we're not gonna lie. You know, this is who we are, this is our content, this is the way of us expressing this content, and if you like it, it's fine. If you don't like it, it's fine again. But we're not gonna sacrifice a part of our soul, a part of who we are, just to get more followers or just to get more Insta famous.
Yeah, I agree. And this all begins with the abundance mentality. I wrote about it last night. It's like you have to believe that the world is a place of abundance, and like there are so many things that you can have, and you should only focus on all these beautiful things that exist, and you can tap into it, and not be in a scarcity mode where like you are chasing the next follower, or you're chasing the next reaction, or you're chasing the next dollar in your bank account, because then you're playing a losing game. You will. I think that many people that suffer from anxiety disorder and stress disorders and stuff like that, which in turn makes them unhealthy. Like we know that if you have chronic stress, then you're more likely to get heart disease or cancer and stuff like that. And I think that everything begins from like this point of view, like that you don't have to chase anything because it already is there. You just have to tap into it, do your own thing and tap into it. It already exists. You don't have to create a new world economy to get rich. Money already exists. You just have to tap into it, So it's that.
Yeah. Nice. I think we should call it a day.
All right.
Before that, let's say also a huge thank you to Despina and George that were watching most of this podcast live with us, and they left
we
the
had
content.
actually 2 viewers, right? Wow, thank you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we're going from
and
zero.
It was the second time we're like live, right?
No, it's the first time we're live.
Okay. The other time was a closed link, right?
Was only with a link.
Okay.
Now there was no link. People just found out.
So anyone on internet land could have seen us, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's also very humbling. Thank you for that. Now, don't forget to subscribe. Smash the fucking subscribe button. I'm gonna go super full-hearted on YouTube. All right. So give me a subscribe, please. It will mean the world to me. Give me a thumbs up. Look at
the fucking bell, right?
Look,
bell.
I even put a plan for you. Okay, so hit the subscribe button and of course follow both Stratis and I on Instagram. Stratis Instagram is Stratis Karad, Karad, and my Instagram is Yannis_Pantelis. Both of the links are in the description below. Until the next time, make sure to follow your dreams. Make sure to follow the conversations that matter. And Stratis, feel free to
and also follow the inner conversations, because you have most inner, less outer. Follow the inner first, and I don't have nothing else to add.
All right. Till the next time, be happy.
Peace.